Yes, something about Psycho. Okay. We got a question from Michael. It says, in spirit of...
Well, close to the camera so I can hear you.
Josh, they can hear me just fine. Can't you? Okay, we got a question from Michael. It says, in spirit of the Halloween season, what's your take on horror movies? Do you guys have a favorite horror movie? Scary movie. Great question. You know, so it's Halloween. I'm going to talk about the first Halloween movie, the one by John Carpenter, came out in the 70s. And really, I'm just going to dive into that. You guys probably won't believe this, but most of the slasher movies that are so popular in our culture nowadays are actually, they're like, the message that's underlying the entire time is that like sex is bad. I know. Yeah, you never really would have thought that, would you?
Who would have ever thought that? That there's negative consequences to sex?
Okay, Halloween opens up with young Michael Myers as like a 10-year-old. The first person he kills is his sister right after she has sex with her boyfriend. And so then, boom, that's the first death. She just had sex, she's dead. Okay, now
unplanned pregnancies were the only thing that could happen.
Right, fast forward to, I don't know, 20 years later, however, when, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis is now in the movie. And, you know, we find out from the dialogue and stuff that she's the only one out of her group of friends that hasn't had sex yet. She's getting teased and stuff for it. And so then her friends just start getting killed one after the other. All of them which have had sex. First it was her blonde friend with her boyfriend after they went into Lindsay's house and had sex, and then they both got killed by Michael. And then her other friend got killed in the car by Michael. And her, because she's the virgin and she hasn't had sex yet, she survives, you know, and she kills him. So yeah, you probably never would have thought that all these horror movies about the horny teenagers going into the woods getting killed is actually preaching don't have sex. You got any favorite scary movies, Josh?
Dude, the best scary movie, Psycho.
Classic Hitchcock.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was like such an iconic movie because it was like the first thing that like the mental torment or the mental like psychology
came
into movies.
I don't want to say this, like, don't quote me on this, but really it's like the first movie that kind of introduced the big plot twist into movies. Before Psycho came out, it used to be where people could just go into a theater, like in the middle of a movie, and just start watching it, and then the movie would start over again once it was over, and then the people would just leave once they got to the part that they walked in on. But in Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock told all of, like, the studio and all the theaters that they got to make sure people come in at the beginning of the movie, and like they can't come in the middle, otherwise they'll miss the twist and stuff. Because that was the first time when they killed off the main character of the movie, like halfway through the film.
Sick. Yeah, it starts off. You get into the life. What was her name?
Marion.
Yeah,
Marion Crane.
Marion Crane. Yeah. So you start off. You learn about Marion Crane. You learn about she's running away and stuff. She's got this money, and then she dies.
Yeah, like in the middle of the movie. Nobody
Sick.
saw it coming.
You get all attached to this character, and then she's dead.
Yeah, and in the 50s, everybody. Spoiler alert: if you haven't seen Psycho and you don't know what the big twist is, well, it's about to be ruined for you. So you can either turn the video off or just.
We already ruined it.
Well, we didn't say it explicitly. We told them that there was a plot twist. We didn't say what it was.
I just said Marianne got killed in the middle of the movie.
Well, no, that's not the twist. The twist is that the killer isn't the mom, but it's actually Norman Bates himself dressed up as the mom.
Oh.
That the mother's actually dead. That's the twist.
Two twists.
I guess.
In my mind.
Well, her dying wasn't really a twist, but more it was just a breaking off of. It was like. It was
cool.
It wasn't the way typical Hollywood style was, like in filmmaking.
You're right.
Where you had the.
You're right. The twist was when.
I'm in a horror films class right now, so this is. I know a lot.
I'm in a differential equations class right now, so I don't want to discredit Ben here, but I kind of think I know what I'm talking about too.
Yeah. Well,
not right now, though.
Since I'm a aerospace engineer major.
Yes.
I'm not. He is. I'm the film major. Okay. Other good horror movies. The Shining. That is, boy. Stanley Kubrick. I just watched that video right before we made this video, so it's in my mind. But boy, that is
No, but really, no.
Okay. You really have to dive in deep on that.
Horror movies suck, though. Normally, I mean, like, they suck. They're the worst freaking movies ever.
What?
Because everyone just dies now. The new horror movies suck.
Okay, the
Every
new
one
horror
of them
movies are more of
sucks.
like a commodity.
They
where
suck.
everybody can make a horror movie and it's cheap and
They're
they
the
just want
worst
to
damn movies
like get
ever.
a bunch of blood and stuff. When horror movies first came out, they were big studio productions,
They were
like with
thoughtful.
Alfred Hitchcock and the first Exorcist, the first one. Now there's like 50 exorcism movies that come out every 6 months, like Possession, Exorcism, the last Exorcism Part 2. Like, what kind of a movie title
They
is
suck.
that?
In case you haven't seen any horror movies, here's how they all go now. Girl starts taking off her clothes with the guy. She's getting romantic. The killer comes in and kills them both. That's it.
I mean,
Usually she doesn't even get all of her clothes off.
going back to that whole, well, really, what it is. Oh, and Carrie. We can talk about Carrie, but really, it's let's just jump into Carrie right now. So,
Why don't we just jump into Carrie right now?
okay, so Carrie kills everybody at her prom because she's imagining that they're all laughing at her. I mean, this is kind of up for interpretation, but I don't think they're all laughing at her, but I think it's all just in her head, even though she goes crazy and kills them all. And then she goes back to her mother's house, and now this whole entire scene with the mother, it's almost like symbolizing the sex that you would have after prom night. Because like she goes back to the mother, and then the mother stabs Carrie with the knife, and that's like symbolizing the penetration of the penis. Okay. Anyway, so then
How old are you?
19. So anyway, then Carrie ends up like stabbing her mother with all the household items and stuff, and then there's probably like a minute and a half scene of Carrie's mom like getting stabbed, and she's just like moaning and groaning. That's symbolizing like the orgasm scene and stuff. That the sex is over. So you see how the murder, it is parallel to like what normally would happen, which would be they would have sex on prom night. There's a lot of underlining meaning
Sex.
in these horror movies.
I didn't even know half of this stuff until right now.
That's because I'm in the horror class.
NBD.
Alright, that was the end of this video. Hope we answered your question, Michael. It's the Josh Ben Show. Subscribe for new videos at least once a week. And yeah, happy Halloween. I could have talked about how it's okay for girls to dress slutty on Halloween because it's only Halloween.
Okay. That video was long.